And he's, again, great grappler as well, so he can definitely do that. But Jack needs to keep it on the feet, and that's what he wants. So obviously, I mean, you just need my pick, you know where I'm going. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
How do you think you'll celebrate beating Islam Makhachev in Madison Square Garden in New York City?
Yeah, just probably get back to the Airbnb and just really celebrate with the team, you know, let loose a bit, have some drinks, celebrate the moment. Because, yeah, these big moments don't come around too often.
There was an interview or something like that where Jack said he said, I'm a better mixed martial artist and I'm coming to take his pound for pound spot.
I think nobody believes this. He's a good boxer. He's a good fighter, but I know I have better skills than him.
With just 2 days left in UFC 322, the featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski has shared some key advice to JDM to tackle Islam Makhachev's grappling. Volkanovski, alongside Craig Jones, has helped their countrymen a lot to prepare for this fight. Craig Jones was also seen teaching Jack Della Maddalena how to escape the choke Khabib used to submit Conor McGregor. How many times you feel like that doesn't like clear's throat? So meanwhile, Alexander Volkanovski advises Jack Della Maddalena to stay off the ground when he faces Islam Makhachev. He says Islam is a great guy and one of the best grapplers in the sport. Volkanovski explains that even though Jack is good on the ground, it is still Islam's world since he has been wrestling his whole life. He tells Jack to stay ready during scrambles, use his weight wisely, and keep the pressure high like Volkanovski did when he tired Islam in their fight. Got a lot of respect for Islam. Great dude. Would love to train with him eventually, but right now Aussie, 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 right? It's simple, right? Jack's great on the ground, but we don't want it to go to the ground. Even though Jack's good there, that's Islam's world. That's all he does 24/7 since he was walking. Like literally was so. He's probably wrestling before he started walking. That's how long these guys have been doing this for. Do we want to go there? You know, be okay with the scrambles if you're comfortable enough in the scrambles and keep that urgency and use your weight and hopefully wear on him. Obviously, I was able to tire him from all them little scrambles. Alexander Volkanovski says Jack Della Maddalena can wear Islam Makhachev down if he keeps the fight standing. He explains that Jack needs to avoid being too relaxed in the wrestling exchanges and not let Islam control him on the ground. Volkanovski believes Jack's best chance is to use strong hips, defend takedowns, and stay stubborn both in the wrestling and on the feet. He says Jack can definitely handle himself if it goes to the ground, but keeping the fight standing gives him the best shot. Volkanovski ends by saying he's backing his fellow Aussie to win. Jack be effective where he can burn him there, take the gas away. Again, if he's going to be complacent in the wrestling and then wait till he's on his back to build up, you're not going to tie Islam there. Jack is going to understand. I ain't even letting you try to get this on the floor. I'm going to try and beat you on the feet. I'm going to keep you away. I'm going to have nice strong hips. I'm going to be very stubborn on the feet, stubborn on the wrestling. If it goes down, stubborn to build myself back up. And he's again great grappler as well. So he can definitely do that, but Jack needs to keep it on the feet, and that's what he wants. So obviously, I mean, do you need my pick? You know where I'm going. Aussie Aussie. Kamaru Usman also reacts to JDM training with Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski ahead of his fight with Islam Makhachev. He notes that even when Drius duplexes prepared for Khamzat Chimaev with multiple wrestlers, the outcome wasn't certain until the fight actually happened. Usman emphasizes that anything can play out once they step inside the octagon. When you see Alex Volkanovski, Craig Jones sitting in that room with him at Scrappy MMA in Perth, how much of an impact do you think those guys are having in the lead-up and preparation for Islam? I mean, it is what it is. You can't really tell, you can't really say that because look at someone like DDP. You saw when he was preparing for Khamzat, and then he had 3 guys, I believe, wrestling him and trying to get him down, and he was kind of having his way with those 3 guys. That doesn't really tell the story. You know, You don't know until you get into that fight and things start to play out. So, who knows? On the other hand, Jack Delmatalna expects Islam Makhachev to pressure him with takedowns for the full 25 minutes of their fight. He notes that Islam may not always shoot desperately, but the threat is constant and something he always considers. This fight gets to the third round, fourth round, fifth round. In your head, do you see it as he's given up on the takedown and you guys are standing, or do you think he's pretty desperately trying to get you down? Like if it was between those two options, what do you think is happening later on in this fight? Yeah, I think I expect 25 minutes he'd push him for the takedown at least. Start. Not desperately pushing, but I feel like it's always a threat, and it's something he's always going to be thinking about, just getting the fight to the floor. However, Islam Makhachev makes it clear that he is more than just a grappler ahead of UFC 322 against Jack Della Maddalena. He emphasizes that he can strike as well as wrestle, nodding his sparring with top fighters like Dustin Poirier and Alexander Volkanovski. Islam stresses that MMA is a mix of skills, and he is prepared to strike, grapple, and take the fight wherever it goes. A lot of fighters who are breaking this fight down say that if you can't get the takedowns on Jack consistently, you're not going to be able to win a striking fight. If it does turn into that where it is stand-up, are you looking forward to proving those people wrong? Man, I just want to tell everybody I can't fight with anybody in the like striking, grappling, wrestling, because I am not just grappler. I can strike. I strike with a Dustin, with Vogue, you know. He can defense my wrestling, but I will strike and I will try to take him down again. You know, this is not striking much or grappling much. This is MMA fight. Alexander Volkanovski also praises Islam Makhachev's fight IQ and instincts, saying his understanding of fight mechanics comes naturally. He explains that Islam doesn't need to think through positions because his reactions are automatic. Volkanovski notes that Islam's experience and awareness let him spot openings right away and adjust before his opponent can react. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of a more that. As you can see, I'm pushing on the hip here. That usually makes the trips hard. Like if he was going to try and pull this way, I've already sort of shut that down. But he's done a great job of tripping as we sort of turn. We end up like the momentum changed that little bit. I put a little bit extra weight one way where I had a nice level and I was sitting. I was based on both legs and my legs seemed too far away as he's pushing me chatting, and then he gets me that little bit off center and that little bit more vulnerable on one side. I'll take that little trip. Obviously, I got back to and got up, but it's just that awareness. He just knows mechanics like he doesn't even have to think about it. He just knows what to do. Like it's instinct for his reactions to these are instinct because he's probably been in them a million times. But not only that, he's obviously got an understanding there that knows that he's vulnerable for this and that. But he's done it though that many times that it just happens as soon as you get in that position. Tim Welch points out that Jack Della has a springy, dynamic stance, bouncing in and out, and notes his excellent cardio for a 5-round fight. He explains that Jack probably walks around at 195 to 200 lb, while Islam Makhachev, who used to fighting smaller opponents, is naturally closer to 170 lb. Welch emphasizes that Islam stays just as lean and shredded at welterweight as he does at lightweight, highlighting his conditioning and physical readiness. So when I say Jack Della Maddalena versus Islamashev, can we get the Timbo breakdown here? What are you thinking there? I mean, obviously there's ways for Jack to win, but he's got a springy stance. He bounces in, he bounces out. We're going 5 rounds here. His cardio is great. He probably walks around at 195 pounds. Islam's used to fighting guys that are probably walking in the cage 175, but Islam is a natural 170. I've been around this guy multiple times. He is damn near 6 foot. He looks like he's 200 lb out of fight camp. And that's what most 170 guys are. 6 foot to 62, and they walk around 195 to 200 lb. But Islam, you see him in his pictures now. He looks just as shredded as he does at 155. Tim Welch further explains that Islam Makhachev's past weight cuts to 155 took a huge toll, leaving him only at about 60% of his full strength and power. Welch expects the move up to welterweight to reveal a much stronger, fresher version of Islam. He adds that while he'd love to see Jack Della Maddalena land a big knockout, he thinks Islam will likely take control on the ground, secure half guard, and look for a submission finish. He's talked about it in the past that cutting to 155 trying to recover in 24 hours and fight 5 rounds. He said he's maxed at 60% of his strength and power when it comes to recovering after weight cuts. Now, I think we're going to see a whole new monster in Islam Makhachev. I really would love to see